Hey guys, welcome to another music review. It's been a while. I know it's been a super long time since I did any kind of music review, and I don't have really a lot of information written down because one, I kind of remember things about these bands, and I'm only going to focus on mainly. I can't talk today. Mainly going to talk about the music today. Not really going to give you a whole lot of information. A lot of people, you know these bands, you know about them, and one band really, there's nothing much to tell about them. So anyway, we're gonna be talking about Earshot and the legendary Pearl Jam today. Yes, you may not know about Earshot, but you definitely know about Pearl Jam. So we're gonna leave Pearl Jam to the last. Let's talk about Earshot for a moment. If you don't know who Earshot is, they had a song called "Not Afraid." I think the other one was. I'm not gonna say that because I think they did have a song called "Fall Apart," but that's not because Hurt. Another band called Hurt had a song like that too. That's not them. That's not who this band is. Um, they had Not Afraid, and they also had, I think, Wait or Waiting, I think was one of their songs. I'm trying to remember the hit songs that Earshot had, but I think Away was another one. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But anyway, Earshot was one of those bands that came out. Chevelle came out around the same time as Earshot. I remember this distinctly because Chevelle came out and I heard Chevelle, or it could have been the other way around. I heard Earshot and then I heard Chevelle. And at the time, I'm like, these bands sound really like Tool a lot. And when I was doing the research for Earshot yesterday, I was listening to all their songs. People were on there were like, people say that these remind you of Tool, but they really remind me of Chevelle. Well, it's because if I remember right, Earshot came out first, and then a couple months later, Chevelle came out with their very first album. And the initial response was Earshot sounded like Tool. That's probably why you see that a lot of different places. But yeah, Chevelle definitely does have more of a Tool kind of feel than Earshot. But Earshot, to me, kind of had a feel of like the alternative rock that was coming out at the time everywhere. And then you kind of had a feeling of Tool, what their kind of like dark kind of sound was. And at this time, there really wasn't anything like Earshot out. But then you had, like, 5, 6, 7 years later, Breaking Benjamin came out, and it's kind of like the same kind of sound that Breaking Benjamin does, to be quite honest. Earshot has, and even the vocalist probably has so many echoes to Breaking Benjamin that they kind of sound a lot alike. I think a lot of the alternative kind of dark rock kind of feels that way. And what I mean dark is it kind of puts you in the kind of spaces that like Stained and Godsmack and these kind of feelings. Even kind of Disturbed has that feeling a little bit, like it's kind of gritty feeling when you listen to their music. It's kind of the way it puts you in the mood. But Earshot is one of those bands where they're not the greatest band ever, and they're not going to be something that you're going to be like, oh, dude, you should definitely hear this song. But it's something you could chill to, and they're a pretty good band. And evidently, they came out with a band in 2014, 2015. Came out with this CD, and sounded pretty decent. It sounded okay, so definitely worth a listen. But if I were to recommend the CD, get their first CD. I think Letting Go, I think is the name of this first CD, or I think it was self-titled. Yeah, I think it was self-titled. The original CD was self-titled. But it's like a blue with kind of dark red kind of things going on it. I think it almost looks like a rib cage or something, or a butterfly, something like that on the front, and it says Earshot on the top real big. Pretty good album. I say it's a really good album. I had it and I ripped it. I had it for the longest time until I finally just got rid of my burnt CDs. But it was one of the ones I kept in my collection. They're pretty good. I really don't know what happened. But my thing about this is that the singer, I think, was lacking something, and he probably still does. His name is Will Martin, I believe, if I remember right. Um, and I looked up things about him. Didn't really find much about him. He didn't do any solo stuff, really. So, like, I don't know what he's. I don't know. Like, if I was any kind of a singer and my band didn't quite work out, I would be releasing shit like crazy online, like trying to get my name to be known as well. So maybe my name stuff would work out since the band stuff didn't work out. But evidently this guy didn't want to go that route. So let me take a drink here again. Got some whiskey and Coke here. Really strong. Anyways, um, yeah, Earshot. Awesome. Pretty cool band. Definitely worth a listen to check out. Let me know what you think about them. Definitely go to Spotify because it'll tell you if you go to Spotify, you can probably hear their best songs are on the top there. Definitely worth taking a listen or type up five best Earshot songs or top five Earshot songs. Really cool. Awesome. Anyways, let's talk about Pearl Jam. So Pearl Jam, let's talk about this for a minute. So Pearl Jam is a band that was around when Nirvana was around, um, and they had Jeremy, they had was it Better Man? They had so many different songs, and they still continue to this day to put out music. The thing about Eddie Vedder, who is the lead singer of Pearl Jam, is that it's an acquired taste. People either love Pearl Jam or they hate Pearl Jam. There's not too many people that say he's okay. Like, if somebody is saying he's okay, they probably just don't like him. They're trying to be nice to you and tell you that he's okay. Because, like I said, it's an acquired taste. Either you like those kind of vocals or you don't like those kind of vocals. Because he has some really interesting lyrics and such like that, and just the way he sings. I mean, I could probably I could probably be a dead ringer for Eddie Vedder. Um, I'm pretty good at covering, and I've heard a lot of people say that the way I sing, my voice, and I could probably sing like tons of Pearl Jam songs and probably cover him like really good. Because I got kind of that kind of a voice when I sing. I sing like Jim Morrison. I sing like Eddie Vedder. Some people would probably disagree with that being a good voice, but you know I think the money speaks louder than anything. That they're such a prominent act still to this day after probably almost 30 years. It's coming up on 30 years. They've probably been around performing and stuff like that. I mean, 1990. I don't know when they started, but I'm assuming they started around 1990 or so, because I think like 91, 92 is probably when their album came out. I'm assuming. I don't really know. I'm probably wrong about that. Don't quote me on that. But they came out around that time frame, probably 91, 92, 93, somewhere in that time frame. So coming on 30 years, they've been together. That's insane. That's pretty insane. They've been together almost 30 years and, still going strong. People still follow them. They still have a decent following. I honestly would buy their albums and stuff if it was easier to do it. It's pretty complicated to know when things come out sometimes now because there's so many bands releasing albums all the time, and it's hard to follow up on who's releasing what album when, and it's just difficult, very very difficult. But anyways, that's Pearl Jam. Pearl Jam in a nutshell. There's so many songs I can't sit here and name every song. Black is really good. I'm not a huge fan of Jeremy. Jeremy's one of their biggest hits, but I'm not a huge fan on that. I actually like other songs than them. I heard Fixer. That was a really good song, and evidently that was in 2008, I think, that came out with. And that was a huge song for them. I'm sure that's one song that helped them stay in the mainstream because it was such a huge song for them. It was huge. Um, it was a good, very, very good song. It didn't even really sound like Pearl Jam, to be honest. But that's probably what some people know Pearl Jam for currently. Some of the people that probably know who Pearl Jam is, they're younger. They're probably, oh yeah, they have that song called Fixer. They have no idea probably about the other songs like Jeremy and Black and Better Man and other stuff. So pretty cool. I actually have heard Eddie Vedder's Into the Wild soundtrack that he did for that too. and it's pretty cool. And he also did, I believe, a ukulele um, CD album as well, where he did a bunch of songs on ukulele. Really, really cool. Definitely worth to check out as well. Eddie Vedder, just as a whole, great singer, great artist. He's able to, put so much in to what he's doing, and I think that he's really underappreciated right now. And I think that in later years, people are going to look back and go, "Wow, Eddie Vedder was amazing." And I think that people are going to be surprised um, by how talented he is. So if you've never checked out Pearl Jam, you really should give him a listen, especially if you like Nirvana and such like that. Um, he's one of those people where I would put him in the category of a music genius because, I call Marilyn Manson that, and I'll still call him that to this day, is that Manson knows what he's doing musically and lyrically and everything else on the outside of music to make himself look the way he wants people to portray him as. He is a musical genius. As the same as Eddie Vedder, knowing how to continue to go with the grain and continuing to pull out hits every once in a while to keep his band afloat. And he's been doing this for, like I said, coming up on 30 years almost, that he will have probably been a band. Pretty impressive to say the least. I don't know, it's hard to say what is next, but I want Eddie Vedder to continue to produce albums with Pearl Jam, and I think that they're going to be remembered as a legendary band. They're going to be one of those bands that people are going to go, yeah, I remember Pearl Jam. They were pretty good, you know. But it's just crazy how long they've been around and how many people don't really talk about them as much. It's surprising because I think that, like I said, he's just underappreciated, and I think when we look back, I think a lot of people in the future are going to go, Eddie Vedder, he was really good. And I hope it's not because when he dies and when he passes on, because that would be horrible. I don't want that to happen. I don't want him to be one of those guys that passes and then people will go, yeah, this guy was awesome. Because it's kind of happening to Chris Cornell now. And I'm assuming that a lot of people are going to find out who he is and go, man, he was amazing. Like, yeah, he was amazing. But nobody listened to him when he was freaking alive. That's why he was kind of going into the obscurity and nobody was, listening to his stuff probably. He was doing solo stuff and nobody cared. But yeah, nothing else really more to say about that. Hope everybody enjoys this video, music review of Earshot and Pearl Jam. More to come. Not sure who I'm going to review next. But I am, I'm sitting there thinking the other day as my butt cheeks go to sleep. Okay. But as I'm thinking the other day, I'm like, I have these metal magazines sitting in my closet of bands that I probably seen in concert because I went to Ozfest all the time. It was, when I first got out of high school, I went there in my senior year, I believe, or I think I went my junior year, my senior year, and then like 3 or 4 times after that. And I would read magazines all the time. I get Metal Edge and BWBK, and I get Metal Maniacs, and I would get these magazines. And I have some magazines still in the closet. Why am I looking at the bands that are in that magazine? Why? I'm not. I don't know why. So I need to start doing that. That'll help me figure out bands to talk about that I'll be interested in. I think the bands that I look more interested in, people are going to like it and enjoy it better. So that's definitely going to come. I am going to be doing some country stuff probably coming up soon, seeing how that happens and reacts. But yeah, I don't have really much else to say. If you guys enjoyed the video, this music review, Pearl Jam, Earshot, definitely worth a listen. I'll put links down below for an Earshot album or a Pearl Jam album, check it out. Click on there. You'll be able to purchase one of their albums, or you can buy anything, and it'll help out the channel. Um, as you know, as an affiliate link, the channel will get a little bit of proceeds if you buy something through that link. So I appreciate that. Also, as always, I'm Johnny again. Feel free to like, share, subscribe if you like the content that you've been listening to. And as always, keep rocking and keep listening to music. Later, guys.